And now, you're coming together. Is your undoing.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
Confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi. Your destiny. The Force will be with you.
Aloha! This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, and Friday night, I finally broke down and I saw Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. As you know, I wanted to wait until well after the opening weekend. Therefore, I would not be supporting the opening weekend box office. It was number one at the box office last weekend, scoring $175 million for its opening, which is the third biggest opening of any of the Star Wars sequels or Star Wars movies. You know, it was directly behind The Last Jedi and Force Awakens. So it is, you know, consistent with that, being the third movie and the lowest of the new trilogy of those three. But I really feel like a lot of other people that low box office number, low, right, you know, give me some of that low $175 million money and, you know, I'll cry all the way to the bank that, oh, I only got $175 million. Yeah, right. Okay, but seriously, remember our rating scale. Shock a thumbs up. It's good to see I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down. It's junk. I don't recommend it. And for Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, the finale of the new trilogy, which finally ends the movie with the Skywalker clan, it is a shock a thumbs down. You know, now to be fair, it was better than the Last Jedi. However, I have to say that you know, it's still not a complete movie in itself. And that comes fundamentally from J.J. Abrams' decision not to correct, not to fix anything with The Last Jedi. Yet, in the end, simply choose to ignore it. And that's what he did. And almost totally ignoring everything that Rian Johnson had done. Now, I'm no fan of Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. I gave it a shock a thumbs down for sure. And I hated every part of that movie, essentially. There's nothing out of Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi that I like. But, you know, trying to have another director pick up the pieces after that debacle, J.J. Abrams really had his hands tied. And he did the best he could. Unfortunately, I feel that maybe another director might have been a better choice to pick up these pieces and move forward with it. AKA possibly Ron Howard, like he did with Solo. Say what you will about Solo. I gave it a shock of thumbs down. I didn't enjoy Solo either. However, it was still a movie. It was still a good science fiction movie. Not a good Star Wars movie, but it was a good science fiction movie. You know, and this one, this Rise of Skywalker, I think Ron Howard could have done so much better with it, coming in fresh. Maybe, you know, looking at what JJ did in Force Awakens, looking at what Rian Johnson did in, you know, The Last Jedi, and maybe coming up with some kind of amalgamation for the Rise of Skywalker, the third, you know, and final in this trilogy. He might have been able to string something together that would be at least enjoyable. Other than J.J. Abrams' startling, beautiful shots and scenery, and the special effects on this are incredible, just to say the least. You know, so it's not a flaw in that. It is the flaw in the story and the directing and the choices the director makes, J.J. Abrams, in ignoring everything from Rian Johnson. You know, J.J. Abrams, you can essentially watch Force Awakens, skip The Last Jedi, and move directly into The Rise of Skywalker and have it be, you know, just 2 movies instead of the 3 trilogies. Just a 1 and a 2-parter. Because Rian Johnson's, whatever he did in that Last Jedi, no longer really makes any sense or attributed. We learn that Rey is not, and this is going to have some spoilers. We find out that Rey is not nobody, as Kylo Ren tells her in The Last Jedi. But right away, for some strange reason, Kylo Ren seeks out the Emperor Palpatine, who is still alive. Darth Vader never kills him. Well, he tries to kill him, apparently. We thought he was dead at the Return of the Jedi ending, but apparently all this time he has survived. And he had gone back to the planet of the Sith to wait, you know, decades, I guess, building a large fleet to come back and return and, you know, take over the universe, the galaxy once more with the Empire. And so what was Smoke and the last, you know, what was Smoke and, you know, the First Order? Apparently they were remnants of the entire, you know, what was left of the Empire, and trying to build that up out of the Empire. It's kind of hastily thrown or mentioned that Smoke was really created by the Emperor to be his kind of, you know, face, you know, be his proxy. Well, he was hiding for some reason, which, you know, he doesn't even say it's like, well, I had to stay and recover. It's like, no, he didn't say it's like, I was just hiding here. It's like, why were you hiding here? Why, if the First Order had all this power to begin with and made a new, even bigger Death Star, the Death Planet or whatever that thing was in Force Awakens, why were you hiding on this planet? What the heck was going on with that? You should have been like, boom, hey, we're not fooling around with these guys again. We're going to take over right from that. But no. But fortunately, J.J. Abrams said, okay, everybody did not. He listened to all the negative comments from Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. And so he said, okay, there's not going to be a Death Star in this one, but every new Star Destroyer that the Emperor made, I guess by himself, on this planet for over so many years, he made thousands of ships, super Star Destroyers, has the technology of the Death Star in it, so it can fire a ray that can destroy planets. Every single one. So you're talking about thousands of ships. So if the rebellion doesn't stop him, the universe is screwed. And but we saw the rebellion pretty much crushed and defeated at The Last Jedi. But J.J. Abrams ignores that. The rebellion is still there, still as strong as it was in Force Awakens, which with this new threat is not strong enough. And so they go out seeking more information and support from the rest of the galaxies to help them defeat this new threat of this entirely new fleet. Nobody mentions the fleet of the First Order that's already out there. In addition to this, what Palpatine, the Emperor, calls the Final Order, the final countdown. That's what it made me sound. It's like I just wanted him to like sing the final countdown. No, it was the Final Order. So it's no longer the Empire. It's taken from the First Order, but this is the Final Order because it's the final movie. So there's no more orders around. So yeah. So that's crazy. Rise of Skywalker, to tell you the truth, I thought this meant that, okay, it looked like Luke Skywalker had died in The Last Jedi. I was hoping that he was still alive. It's like he just disappears, maybe teleported. We find in this movie, Masters of the Force, Jedis here, Kylo Ren, who apparently got Super Saiyan way up there, is able to teleport objects with his mind using the Force. He's able to grab, he's like parsecs away on a different planet and is able to reach across the universe and grab a necklace off of Rey. Rey is able to reach across, space and time and give Kylo Ren her lightsaber at a crucial moment. How does this occur? It's the Force apparently, but we've never seen any use of the Force like that. And a use of the Force like that would be, it's like, well, then why didn't Luke just teleport himself all the way across the galaxy to that final battle in The Last Jedi instead of being a Force projection, an illusion, basically? That, it makes my mind explode. It's like, what? So Rise of Skywalker, I thought, okay, maybe he is dead. Maybe he in doing that illusion from so far away, it drained all his life force and he died. So Rise of Skywalker means he's going to come back to life and he's going to save everybody. And if the Emperor is there, then he's going to come back and take out the Emperor. Just like maybe Vader, his father, had done, that he's going to save the galaxy that way. No, no. And again, this has spoilers. He's dead. He's a Force ghost. He talks to Rey for like 3 minutes in this movie that says, basically says, hey, I'm sorry, I was scared. I shouldn't have left and hid out on this planet. You've got to go stop Palpatine, the Emperor, and do what I and Vader, my father, couldn't do. We find out Leia was pretty much a master Jedi in her own way. Luke had trained her, and that she was even more powerful than Luke. And so she finishes Rey's training. Again, this is very much, it's like J.J. Abrams slammed together Empire Strikes Back along with Return of the Jedi. Said, okay, we're going to get Rey trained up just like Luke got trained up by Yoda, but Leia's going to train her up because Luke's dead from the last movie. It's like, why couldn't he as the Force Ghost just go ahead and do that and train her? You know, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, you know, let him rise up to the level of teacher again. If he's not going to rise up out of the grave and come back and do what he did in Return of the Jedi, which apparently he didn't do, was stop the Emperor. So yeah, so that's the totally negative thing. It pretty much negates the last most important trilogy, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. You know, Palpatine, all those things that the rebels were trying to do back then, they failed. You know, you thought, you know, with the destruction of the Death Star, the Emperor was dead and the universe was at peace. No, the First Order magically appeared. The Empire never left, just changed its name to First Order. The rebels were beat down like dogs and near defeat. The Emperor, so much so, the Emperor comes back and says, surprise, I'm back. I was never gone. And here's even more ships to destroy you, even worse than you're destroyed already. And then Kylo Ren, you know, apparently Leia's last, you know, Leia uses her life force to reach out to Kylo Ren and basically tell him she still loves him and she forgives him for killing Han Solo and doing all this evil stuff with the Force, right? And tells him to come back. And then she dies. And that's unfortunately, you know, that's the only way I guess J.J. Abrams could think to, since Carrie Fisher did die in real life, you know, and they said that they weren't going to digitalize her and use a fake Carrie Fisher, a fake Leia in this. That's the only way they could think of to bring her to come back and have any relevance in the plot. But, you know, so then Kylo Ren turns good. He even remembers Han Solo and thinks that he forgives him. And he's inspired to become a new Jedi instead of a Sith Lord or whatever he was trying to do. But, you know, that's a total 180. He had a chance to turn good in The Last Jedi, and he chose no. He killed his father, Han Solo. He didn't just like, oh, I'll let him blow up or I won't save him. He stabbed him right through the chest with his lightsaber. When he was saying, hey, son, I love you. You know, so no, he was irredeemable. This, you know, should have had him being defeated by Rey as Luke takes on the Emperor. Hey, I would have settled for a Force Ghost Luke taking on the Emperor. That would have been much, much better in my books. All right. So yes, I shock a thumbs down overall, and that's only just a mere part of it. What's going on in this movie and what could have been, what should have been. It's just a mishmash, mainly of Return of the Jedi, sprinkled in with some Empire Strikes Back, just as Force Awakens was Star Wars New Hope, starting over again. And this is a terrible way for this franchise, you know, the Star Wars Luke Skywalker trilogy to all just disappear. Fortunately, we have The Mandalorian, a fantastic Star Wars new idea and show going on, which is very exciting and is a shock a thumbs up all the way for The Mandalorian. But for this trilogy, it's a shock a thumbs down. Maybe in a few years, children growing up will watch this, never having seen the originals, and think, yeah, it's good, it's okay. you know, I don't see what all the Star Wars hype was. And that's what we're left at, and true fans are like, you know, devastated. Hopefully Jon Favreau will take over as he's doing The Mandalorian, that he will be able to take over and do the new Star Wars trilogies, new Star Wars movies, you know, under the guise of, you know, guidance of Kevin Feige and Kathleen Kennedy, who controls all of the Star Wars stuff for Disney, goes away finally. Like the Emperor fades away, but is she really gone? Who knows? She may rear her head up again and destroy another universe of movies. All right, thank you so much. Again, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, giving Star Wars Rise of Skywalker a shaka thumbs down. All right, thank you so much, and aloha.